Hi everybody, this is Gianfranco Ruggiero, product manager here at AutoForm. And today I'm with Steve Morley, president of the Confederation of British Metalforming. And we are going to ask him some question. Steve, I know that you are really very expert for more than 40 years in the manufacturing, stamping industry and so on. How do you see the challenges globally in this field, in this section of the industry, and then especially here in the UK?
I think we live in quite unique times. I can't recall a time where we've gone from one problem to the next. Here in the UK in particular, we've had pandemic,
yep.
We've had Brexit,
Yep.
Semiconductor shortages, and then we've got an economic crisis, some caused by our own government, but also by the Ukraine-Russia war,
Yep.
which has pushed energy prices up. So a lot of manufacturing companies, whether they be big or small, and remember like 95% of the companies in the UK are SMEs, so smaller than 250 employees. It's really important that we understand how fragile the UK economy is. And interestingly, some of the things we see are mirrored across the world.
Yeah.
So I'll give some examples. So in terms of the pandemic, as president of ICOSPA as well as the CBM, we had information from across the world, and our members from Japan, China, America, Germany, France had many similar problems to ourselves in terms of pandemic, loss of production. Some areas came back quicker than others. Different types of support from governments. China had particularly bad stringent COVID, but that also then impacted on the global supply chain.
Yep.
So we had problems with freight, we had problems with production from China because the world actually found out they were too reliant on China. So our supply chains got stretched. So even if you went back to work, some of the parts you needed, you couldn't get.
Yeah.
The cost of freight went through the roof. By that, a normal freight container was £2,000, £3,000. It went to £20,000.
Yeah.
And then there was shortage of containers because of everyone moving the COVID-related PPE,
Yeah.
but also there was blockages in ports because the ports weren't working correctly. So all this made a massive increase in cost in terms of transport logistics. And then when we came back into work, there was spasmodic peaks and troughs in terms of production.
Yeah.
In the UK alone, we made our own problem in terms of Brexit. So we went into Brexit, and we hadn't gone through it properly. And what happened then was we had a lot of fallout in terms of Brexit, in terms of on costs to our members, to manufacturing companies in the UK, delays at ports, delays with paperwork, more stringent restrictions in Europe, which cost more money. So we were going from one thing to the next, and then we had a semiconductor problem, which is a global problem,
Yeah.
but then that took automotive production and other areas down to zero. So we're just moving from one to the other, and then we've had the Ukraine invasion by Russia. That has led to energy prices surging, so we've got members in the UK who've got energy bills could increase between 400% and 600%. So, you know, it's absolutely mind-blowing. And because of the problems in the past, a lot of the companies have carried some debt over, so they took government loans or government support, and they carried the debt over.
Yeah.
So the energy cost on top of the debt they've already got is really going to put a lot of business under threat.
Yeah.
I think in the UK we've got 750,000 companies who are not viable in terms of liquidity, so that they're really vulnerable. So the energy support the governments give us for business is welcome, but it needs to go on for longer than 6 months. That's going to be a battle we have to face. But we are in a really fragile state. I've just had the reporting from the global companies for my cost now, and I've just read through them the last few days, and a lot of the problems are very similar. I mean, America haven't got an energy problem, but they've got supply problems.
Yeah.
Germany and France very similar to ourselves. They've got energy problems. Germany probably far more than France. China, amazingly, have got problems with labour because they can't get the right labour. And I think labour's a big thing. I think if we can get through the energy crisis in the UK, our next big problem is going to be labour. And I think before the pandemic, we couldn't get skilled labour, and now we just can't get labour. Some of that's because of people who worked here from the EU going back to Europe.
Yeah.
Some went back because of Brexit, some went back because of the pandemic, and haven't returned. And then we've also a lot of people in the 50-year-olds plus who got used to not working during Brexit, during the pandemic, and didn't go to work.
Yeah.
So they took a early retirement or downsized the house and took a different job. So we lost a lot of people from the industry. So I think our biggest problem is going to be going forward, get through the energy crisis, is going to be labour. How do we get the labour to drive our economy? And this problem is a global problem.
Yeah.
It's the same in America, Germany, France, even, as I said, China and Japan. So they're 6 of our members of ICOSPA. I think we have to find a solution to the labour problem. We have to move it forward. I think AutoForm, the work you do, if you can bring technology, software improvements to any process that can help with the skills and labour, I think you could find a niche in the market to help people develop the tooling, but also develop the process. I think that would be really, really useful because I think everyone's going to need all the help they can get.
Yeah. Well, that's what we are trying to do. That's what we're trying to push. Especially where we maybe struggle a little bit is in the message that to be more efficient at the end. That's what we are looking for. Sometimes the processes must change a little bit. The one that have been in place for years maybe reached their top, and now it's time to change something if we really want to step up and move forward.
I think you're spot on there. I think also the thing we have to do is sell it as well, because I think the problem we've got at the moment, a lot of companies are focused on the problems in front of them and not looking forward. I think events like you present gives a good opportunity for you to market what you've got, but also give people opportunity to upskill or improve the process so they can move forward. And it's my job as a president of a trade association to promote things like you're doing, so we can help our members improve and get through the crisis we've got.
All right. Thank you very much for your speech, of course, for your overview. It was very valuable for us. Yeah, we'll try to push it in this direction as much as we can.
I believe, Gianfranco. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.